So to start off this cut, we're gonna go ahead and comb through the client's hair, and what this is going to do is elevate the hair off of the scalp, so when we come in with our clipper we get a nice even cut. And as well, what I'm paying attention to is any imperfections or problems that the hair might cause us. And then to start the cut down process, I'm coming in with my 1.5 all the way closed with the grain, and I'm using my Wahl magic clips here. And you'll see I'm being real patient. I'm not rushing this part because I don't want to patch him. I want to leave his hair nice and full and as dark as possible. So I do want to point out something about the side of my client's head. As you can see, he doesn't have waves on the side, and this is due to the density of his hair. So you'll see right here when I come in with that 1.5, it's gonna look as if I patched him on the side, but this is still the same 1.5 that I used on the top. But the reason it looks so much lighter is because, you know, the density on the side of his head isn't as full as it is on top. But you'll see as I continue to take it down, it's gonna look a lot better, especially when we put the high taper on there and put the line on there. It's gonna bring everything together. But I remember the first time I cut this client's hair, and I did that, I was like, oh my god, I just patched this dude. But I stayed consistent and patient with it, and I did the taper, I did the lineup, and you know, it's gonna bring everything together. So I'm still coming in with my 1.5 here, and now we're gonna go ahead and brush everything down, laying it back down in its natural position. And you can see after it's all taken down, it doesn't look as bad, but this taper is really going to bring everything to life. And now to start off the high taper, I'm going to start at the top of his arch and then go to the bottom of his ear, and that is going to be my broad line. And now I'm going to follow that up with the shaver to get it a little bit closer to the skin and to really make that taper pop. And then to follow it up, I'm going to come in with my lever all the way open, and we're going up about a thumb's width here. And now to get rid of that line, I'm going to come in closed and then gradually open that lever. And then to follow that up, I'm going to come in with my 1 guard all the way open. Again, going up about the same distance, and I'm brushing after each pass of the clipper. And that's because I want to make sure that I'm getting, you know, an even cut. And I went ahead and closed that lever and went ahead and tapped that line right there. And now to fully get rid of that line, I'm going to come in with my 1/2 guard all the way open, and then you'll see me gradually close that lever until it is blended out as possible. And there was still a faint line there after I used my 1/2 guard, so I'm coming in with my lever open, no guard. And I'm just tapping at that line with the corner of the blade. And now we're gonna go ahead to our 2 guard all the way open. And with this 2 guard, we're not really creating a line here. We're blending into the length that we took the top and sides down to, which was that 1.5. So it kind of just seamlessly blends, and there's still a faint line there. So I'm gonna come in with my 1.5 all the way open, and I'm gonna go ahead and attack those dark spots, and then I'll go ahead and close that lever as needed until it's as blended out as we can get it. And you can see after we get through our steps, that taper really looks done, but we're gonna go ahead and add some more detail to it. So I'm using the corner of my blade here to just fine-tune this blend and really get into those dark spots. And I also use my thinning shears to attack those dark spots and soften everything up. And that taper is looking super nice. And now we're gonna blend into his beard using the same steps, just in the opposite direction. So I'm coming in open, and then with my 1 guard open, and that should blend right into the beard. And now we're gonna go ahead and go to the other side, and we're gonna follow the same exact system that we used on the side that we previously just did. So I did bald, and I'm gonna follow it up with my shaver to get it close to the skin and add some longevity to that taper. And now I'm gonna come in with my clipper all the way open, again about a thumb's width. And to get rid of that line in between, I'm gonna come in closed, and then you'll see me open up that lever little by little. And now right here, I'm gonna come in with my 1 guard open, going up about the same distance, brushing as I pass the clipper through. Especially with the curly hair texture like this, when you go against the grain, it kind of bunches up the hair, so you want to make sure that you're laying it back down when you brush or comb it. And then this right here is my 1/2 guard, And now we're gonna move on to the biggest guard that we're gonna use, which is that 2 guard open, and that should blend right into that 1.5 that we took the hair down to. And now right under that 2 guard, I'm gonna come in with my 1.5, and this is kind of just gonna bring everything together. And you can see how that high taper really blends into that less dense area of hair on the side of his head really nicely. So, and now I'm just gonna go back to my 1 guard and just detail any dark spots that I see. And these thinning shears right here are just gonna bring everything together, kind of soften that blend up. And usually I don't use thinning shears when it comes to this hair texture, but it really works well, in this case scenario with this client. And you can see how soft that taper looks. And now we're gonna go ahead and go to the back of the head where we're gonna do the neck taper. So I went bald with my trimmer just like I did on the side, and now I'm coming in with my lever open. And you can see the line in the back was very faint, so I came in closed and then I opened up that lever just a little. And now we're gonna come in just like we did on the side with the 1 guard open. And you can see we're spacing out our guidelines a little bit wider in the back, and that's because we have a lot more canvas area to work with. And now between that open and 1 open, I'm coming in with my 1/2 guard open, and then I gradually went ahead and closed that lever. And again, we're coming in with our 2 guard open, which is that biggest guard that we're going to use. And that should seamlessly blend into that 1.5. And then I went ahead and closed the lever to that too. And we're just blending down here. And now we're going to come into the last guard that we're going to use in the process, which is our 1.5. So I came in open and then gradually closed that lever as needed. And you can see that dark spot in the middle of his head caused by the occipital bone. And it's kind of just a fold of the skin there. So you'll see me just pay a little bit more attention to detail when I get there. But we pretty much got through our system here. And now we're just going to go ahead and detail this taper. So I came back to my 1 guard. And I went ahead and just closed that 1. And I'm lifting up the skin, making sure I'm trying to get that line as blended out as we can get it. It's not going to be perfect just because it is an indentation. But you want to make sure that you're giving, the best possible outcome that you can possibly give. And you can already see how that neck taper is coming together. And now to line up the nape area, I'm going to start at the top of the ear. And this is going to prevent me from taking this area up too high. And now I'm going to go to the bottom and meet it in the middle. And that is how I'm going to get that nice round shape on the nape area, without digging into the hair too much. And that really brings that taper to life. And we're just going ahead and detailing that line a little bit more. And you can already see how that line just really makes that taper pop. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side here, just cleaning up the neck. And now to prepare the front hairline, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it with alcohol. And then I'm going to grab a neck strip and just wipe it down. And this is just trying to get rid of any oils or, dirt that's in the hair. Because I want to make sure that I have the hairline as clean as I could possibly get it. So that way I can have the crispiest outcome possible as well. And now for the lineup, we're going to start in the middle of his forehead. And we're going to move towards, I believe I go towards the right side of his head. Our left, his right. And I'm making sure that I'm keeping it, as natural as possible, while at the same time getting it as crispy as possible. So I'm just tapping at that line, letting the weight of the trimmer do the work. I'm going to line up the box area. And the lineup really just frames the entire haircut, right? It brings out any minor imperfections that you might need to go back and detail. And it just brings everything together. And now I moved on to the other side, doing the same exact thing, trying to get it as symmetrical as possible. And now we are going to add some color enhancement, and this is just going to fill in those lighter areas in the hairline and just really make them full and make the haircut pop. And you can already see how it just takes that line up to a whole nother level. And now after that enhancement, we are going to use the white Barber pencil, and what this is going to do is create a contrast between the skin and you know, his hair. So it's gonna really make that hairline pop. So I went ahead and just followed where I had lined him up naturally, and then we used our trimmer to go ahead and spread out the white pencil. And now we're gonna use our razor, and you're really gonna see you know, that white ash line that it creates, and it really just gives the hairline that HD effect. So I'm just stretching the skin here. And now we're going to move on to the beard. And for the beard, I'm going to start at the bottom, and then I'm going to go to the top and connect those 2 points in the middle. And that is how I'm going to get that nice round shape on the beard without digging into it too much. And we're just pulling up the skin to make sure we're giving him a nice and comfortable shave. And now we're going to go ahead and line up the bottom and side of the beard. And we're just keeping it, you know, as natural as possible. I don't want to make it, you know, chin strap right on the jawline, but he wanted it pretty far up. And now we're gonna go ahead and grab some pomade and work it into his hair to really make those waves pop and give it that nice polished look. But family, my man came in looking super rough, so we went ahead and put him in the game with a nice high taper, wavelength on top. Family, if this helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you leave a comment down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and while you're at it, follow me at JClipperHands, where I have a lot more dope content. But again, like always, thank you family. I will catch y'all next time.